The regulation foresees that following the adoption of the reform agendas, the countries may ask for up to 7% in pre-financing from their initially allocated amounts. And then what we expect is basically, disbursements to be able to happen on the basis of a semi-annual fixed calendar, so every 6 months. Of course, this will depend on payment requests every time by the partners and the verification on the Commission side that all the general conditions, preconditions, and also the payment conditions that are stipulated in the evaluation of the reform agendas that have been published today have been met. Of course, you are aware that in the case of Kosovo and Serbia that have an additional precondition to engage constructively in order to advance on the normalization of their relations. This is a precondition that will be monitored ahead of the payments by the Commission, of course, taking into account the role and the contribution of the External Action Service. The reform agendas foresee reforms covering both the socioeconomic area and also the fundamental areas reforms, and this is broken down into steps, so reform steps, with a detailed timeline for the delivery of these reforms. So again, every 6 months we would expect partner countries to request the payments, and the Commission will verify if the countries have satisfactorily met the conditions and the steps agreed by the Commission, as well as, of course, the general conditions and the preconditions. Just to give you some examples, in the case of Serbia, in their reform agenda, they have committed to improve the electoral framework, taking into account, for example, the key recommendations of the ODIHR and the Council of Europe when it comes to the electoral processes. Serbia has also committed to fully align its laws to the EU acquis when it comes to media laws. And these are things that we will be, of course, monitoring as part of the preconditions. Again, this is something that we will monitor throughout and every time ahead of each of the payments. Kosovo and Serbia have an additional precondition, indeed, to engage constructively when it comes to the normalization of the relations. I think here it is pretty clear that this is about implementing all past agreements under the EU dialogue, and the reform agendas need to also be able to contribute to this process, and this is something that the Commission will assess, again, in this case, of course, taking into account the role and the contribution of the EAS, and this is something that will be assessed, again, ahead of each payment. Further alignment when it comes to CFSP has become an even more important signal of the strategic direction that partner countries want to take towards the European Union. And of course, this is very closely followed not only by the European Commission, the EAS, but also, as you mentioned, by the member states themselves. And of course, in this context, the reform agendas set out an explanation on how measures that will be taken by our partner countries will also contribute to the progressive alignment and continuous alignment when it comes to CFSP, including restrictive measures. And again, this is something that we will, of course, monitor throughout. It's a specific objective of the reform agendas, as you know. We will only pay if reforms that have been agreed are delivered. Now, if the Commission finds that a payment condition is not sufficiently satisfactorily been implemented, the Commission may decide to withhold all or partial of the funding that was foreseen for a specific reform step. This, of course, we'll need to see on a case-by-case basis, and the partner countries would, of course, still have a certain period of time to be able to, if you like, remedy the situation and make sure that they can, either present more measures to make sure that they will fulfill the steps that they have previously agreed. We, of course, want to give, obviously, a chance to our partner countries to be able to implement what they've agreed. And I think that we can be safe and confident that partner countries will want to implement what they have agreed. But again, I mean, this is not about, this is about incentivizing reforms. And of course, it's set in the regulation. They would a priori at least have 1 year in order to be able to take further steps to make sure that they do not lose, if you like, these payments.